About 4 months ago, I opened an $1,800 box of 1980 Panini Rock and Pop. Out of those vintage 450 stickers, I sent in my most promising 20 for grading. Well, I finally got them back from PSA, and today we're going to take a look at how I did. Here we go. Before I get ahead of myself, my name is Reed, and I've been collecting rare music cards for over 30 years. I searched the globe for hard-to-find music cards, both vintage and not so vintage, to add to my always growing collection. I don't consider myself an expert at any of this. I'm just a guy with a camera enjoying this crazy hobby. Feel free to come along every Sunday where I'll post a new video showing my inside look at how I go about growing my collection. Welcome to collecting music cards. This one was from months ago. I opened a box of 1980 Panini Rock and Pop and sent out, I think it was 20 cards. Yeah, there's only 20 that fit in here. And I sent out 20 cards. Let me just double check that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it wasn't 19. And let's see here. And a lot of these cards were just super clean. I was really excited about these cards. Let's see here. Yeah, 20. And we'll go through these right now. Very excited about these because these are going to be about as pack fresh as you're going to get out of cards like these. These are 44 years old, 1980 Panini Rock and Pop. And let's start off with this first one here. What do we have? 1980 Panini Rock and Pop Collection, Queen, card number 51. This is a PSA 6, not a great grade. Boy, a 6 for a card that nice. You can see it's got great centering. Well, I was really excited about this one. I think that's one I was excited about for the Queen card. Really good centering. There were no surface issues with it, but they did not like this one. So let's, that's the card right there. That's Queen. That's a PSA 6. And I'll check population reports on these. Let's see where we're at on this. There's 5 of these, and there's 8 higher than that. So not a real impressive grade there. Next card up, Freddie Mercury. Wow, PSA 9. That's the best one I've ever had of that. A PSA 9, card number 52. And there's Freddie right there. You can see how beautiful that is. It's got a real nice centering. Surface and corners are just stellar. Pack fresh card. And let's see here. Let's go to... And Freddie, there's a Pop 7 at PSA 9, and there is 110 out there. So there we go. I think I sent a couple of these Freddies in this order. Diana Ross, card number 93. Wow, PSA 10. Wow. I really wanted to get a couple 10s out of this box, and here we go. Yeah, a PSA 10. That's what one of those looks like right there. That's the first time I've ever had a 10 out of a 1980 Rock and Pop card. I've sent a lot of these in that I've collected throughout the years. I started sending them about a year ago, and that is the first 10 I've ever received on one of these. 44-year-old card. And I don't know what the population of those is. And this is a population of 2. So I've sent 2 of these Diana cards in there, so someone else either has one of the other 10s or I have the other 10 here. And I remember both of them were really nice. The Diana Ross card is not normally a card that I would send in for grading, but I did it because they were so nice. So next up, Linda Ronstadt, PSA 7. I was hoping for a higher grade on Linda Ronstadt. A really popular card out of this set. There's very few cards on Linda Ronstadt out there. And there we go. So PSA 7 isn't going to show really well as far as the population report, but let's check and see what that is. There are 3 7s out there, and there are 8 cards higher. I've had this in a 9. I've had several 8s of this, and I think I also, in this submission, I sent 2 of those. Elton John, PSA 9, really great grade on this card. The card deserves it, though. If you look at that centering, you can see that that is really, really, really strong centering there. And there is Elton John. And let's see, PSA 9. PSA 9 is a pop 4. So there's 4 9s out there, and there are no 10s. Here's the other Diana Ross, and we do have both of them. This is a PSA 10. The other one was a 10 also, so we have both the PSA 10s that show up on the pop report. Here's a Billy Joel, and no, a 7. This was my closest shot to getting a 9. Wow, I have no idea why this scored so low, but it did. Other than up on the border up here, the top border, there's some ink on there from the printing process. Just a little teeny bit of a line there. I don't know if you can see that. See if you can see that in the top, right on the top there. And I guess that could knock it a grade there, but a 7, wow. As you can see, the centering on that is just really nice. Pack Fresh card, came right out of a pack. And there are some great corners on this card. Nothing wrong with that card, but let's see what goes on as far as a 7. Where does that put us here? Highest I've ever had on this card is an 8. And there are 3 7s out there, and there are 10 cards higher. And I believe there are a couple 9s. There are no 10s on that card. Here's David Bowie, monster grade, PSA 10. Now, this is a card, for those of you, if you've watched any of my previous videos, there was a video probably half a year ago where I made a submission to PSA of this exact card, to PSA, a David Bowie card from this set, and they lost it. And they reimbursed me what I insured the card for. I guess this is karma right here. So now I send one in. I think I sent 2 of these in. And I got a PSA 10 on the David Bowie. Let me see if these are going to be... There are 2 10s out there. And either I have the other 10 or someone else has the other 10. We'll know when we get to the card. Here's another Freddie Mercury. And wow, another PSA 9. I couldn't hope for anything better than that. These Freddie Mercury cards are really popular. This card is a little bit off center, a little thin on the left, a little thicker on the right. You might be able to see that there. And this Freddie Mercury right here is a beautiful card, PSA 9. And we already know that there was, I believe it showed as 110 and a few 9s. Let's see what we have here. Yeah, there were 7 9s and 110, and we have 2 of the 9s now. Next card up, this is a Michael Jackson. I've sent a oh, there we go. PSA 10 for Michael Jackson. I didn't really think this was going to happen. This is a notorious card for being off center. I did end up getting a really nicely centered one here. The other ones that were in the box were not as nicely centered. This is a PSA 10 on this. That card, I know, stands alone. There are no other 10s out there. And anytime you can get a legitimate, vintage Michael Jackson card, and it turns out to be a pop 1. That's pretty solid thing. So let's see. There we go. Yeah, pop 1, none higher. Let me see if I can show you that. Pop 1, none higher on Michael. There we go. Wow, that's a beautiful card there. That is really, really exciting to get that one there. Next up, the Jacksons. And this is a PSA 8. That's a solid grade. I believe, I think I've had this card in a 9 before. Let's see where this stands. And this is a pop 4, and there are 3 higher. So there are 3 9s out there. I don't believe there are any 10s of that card there. And there are the Jacksons. And there are 4 of these in this grade, PSA 8. And there are 3 9s out there. Next up, another Queen card, and this is another 6. So that was, I think, the first card we looked at was a Queen card, and that was a 6. And these are both grading the same. I'm going to tell you, though, I don't know what's going on with this card. But if you look at the centering here, and I know the corners are perfect on these cards. If you look at the centering here, that's a beautiful card. Corners are perfect. Edges are perfect. It's got to be something with the surface, and I don't see anything. But we're not going to dwell on that right now. Next up, Rod Stewart, 1980, PSA 10. Oh, awesome. 44-year-old Rod Stewart card in the PSA 10. You're not going to see a lot of those. There we go. This was a really nice box, nice centering. The cards were in really good condition on this box. Look at that. Rod Stewart, PSA 10. I don't quite know what that's going to do for us in regard to population, but let's see. There are 2 of these 10s out there, and I believe that I sent 2 of these in. So, yeah, we might have the other one, or someone else does. Here's a Carpenter's card. I've sent these in before. The first 2 of these I sent in, they sent them back to me and said they were undersized, and I actually took them out of packs. So I don't know what's going on with this card. This card only scores a 6. And I don't know why. It's got really nice centering, corners, edges, surface. Everything about it is right. I definitely would not have sent this card unless it was right. But they're seeing something that they're not liking on this card. And that's a PSA 6. And they've got more tools and more stuff to look at these than I do. I just have my eyes. Population 2, and there are 4 higher than this on the Carpenter's card. Here's the other Bowie, and we have it. We have the other PSA 10. So in this submission, we submitted 2 of these Bowie cards. Same card that PSA lost on me about 6 months ago. And this card right here is a PSA 10, just like the other one. So we've got both the 10s on the David Bowie card. There we go. That's a great looking David Bowie card too. Really cool card. Next up, Rod Stewart. And we submitted 2 of these, and here is the other PSA 10. So on some of these cards, on the Bowies, on the Rod Stewarts, on the, let's see, Diana Ross's, and I can't remember what else there was. We're getting 10s on these cards. As you can tell, though, that's really a nice card. There's Rod Stewart, PSA 10. And there are 2 10s out there. And here is a PSA 8 on Debbie Harry. I would have loved to have gotten a higher grade on her. Real popular card within the set because this is probably one of the best photos she ever took. PSA 8, I don't know what that does in regard to population. My phone's a little slow on everything right now. There's lots of activity in my phone right now. There are 2 8s, and there are 2 cards higher on this one here. So there we are. There's 2 8s, and I know that there's 2 9s out there. I had one of the previous 9s, and I no longer have it. So I'm hoping that I will get another 9 one day here. But I submitted 2 of these. Here's an 8, population 2 with 2 higher. And here is a 7. And let's see here. That card is as a 7. There's 3 7s, 2 8s, and 2 9s out there. And that's for the Debbie Harry card, which is a stunning card. Next up, Paul McCartney. I only sent one of these because by no means is this any kind of an early card for Paul. His cards go back into the early 60s, 64, 65. And this is a PSA 10. Really happy to have that. I mean, this is 44 years old. It is 1980. But this is like a 16th year Paul McCartney card. So I only sent one of these, and I got a PSA 10. Something tells me I probably should have sent the other one, and I probably will. Because if they're going to give possibilities of getting 10s on these, I might as well go ahead and do that. Now, I don't know how many of these there are out there. But as far as Paul goes, there are 2 of these 10s out there. I have one of them, and someone else has the other. I think I'll send that other one, make it 3 10s, and see if I can do that. And here's a great Billy Idol card. This is a PSA 10, stunning card. Wow. I didn't know that I would get a 10 on that. No, the centering is pretty good on that. I was doubtful that I'd get 10s on any of this stuff. PSA is brutal on this vintage stuff. I mean, it's got to really be perfect. You know, they check for mold. They check for any kind of deterioration, any kind of fraying. You know, they don't care that it came fresh out of a pack. What they're caring about is that it looks like a brand new card in perfect condition. There's Billy Idol right there as a PSA 10. And let's see what we've got here. PSA 10. And Billy Idol is a Pop 2 is a PSA 10. So there is one other one out there. I don't know if I have another one of these this nice in my collection or not. But if I do, I'm going to pull it, and I'm going to probably send that one in as well. So there we go. So what did we get? We got probably 7, 8, 9, maybe 9 PSA 10s out of this submission of 20 cards. And that is about as solid as it's going to get. That was a really great box. That was a lot of fun opening this box, and that was a lot of fun getting these back and seeing these great grades. So hope you enjoyed that, and we'll see you next time.